am the ghost of Jeremy, and I have returned to voice this podcast. Woo!
Well, at least the ghost of your computer. Oh, that's mean.
I am Blue Screen from beyond the grave.
Eek!
Okay, so there's this group of crows out there. Can you take care of them? Yeah, we'll be fine in here. Okay. Yes, if it isn't obvious, welcome back to Recorder on the Wall. I'm Pete.
Pete's
And my
alone.
And I just lost you guys. I'm sorry. I think I'm back.
That's
a
Katie.
great
That
start.
was Jeremy pretending to be a ghost, and I think we have one more.
I'm Matthias, and I'm gonna hide in the corner from the spooky, scary ghost.
This is gonna be great.
This isn't
start to the
Halloween. Knock it off. Or Jeremy, don't be such a weenie.
I'm not the weenie. You are the weenie.
So,
Oh man.
it's
Yeah.
been a while since we covered a book. So,
It
Wait,
has.
wait, for books? Pete just like called me and was like, "Hey, you're recording now. Do it.
I did.
Play along."
Oh, okay, yeah. Back to the recording. But yes, yeah, it's been a while since we covered a book, and yet what happened at Bellmaker the last time?
Last time on the Bellmaker.
or better yet,
Oh, no.
old Timmy reading us out. Previously on Bellmaker.
Holy unlucky ships, Batman.
Yeah, the Pearl Queen managed to stay afloat despite the fact that it should have been more wrecked than the SS Minnow. So,
What's the SS Minnow?
it's another Gilligan's Island reference.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And no, they managed to stay afloat. They find some orphans. Yay, more orphans.
We always need more orphans.
Bellmaker Book 2. More orphans.
And meanwhile, Muriel and Dandon are having hijinks on the roof of Castle Flore. Or is it Floret?
Floret.
I forget.
Or Floret. Or... no.
Floret,
Floret.
whatever.
Yes, it's Floret.
They do their shopping at Target.
Yes.
But we also were at Redwall, where two sea rats were apparently in residence. One we like, and the other's kind of a douche.
They're Slippy and the Blagget. They're Slippy and the Blagget.
But as we finally get into book 3, those two finally, their evil mastermind plot comes up. They're gonna make boats.
No, just one is gonna make boats.
The other will nearly poison all of Redwall by bad cooking.
Yes.
We
Why
also
is
find
this
out
a
who
thing?
this shadow is that's haunting them, and it's totally anticlimactic.
And the Shadow knows.
Yes. Speaking of old-time
Oh.
radio shows.
And terrible Alec Baldwin movies.
Gonna have to be more specific on that one.
Oh.
And it's good news, you guys, before we get sued into oblivion.
Good news is, I don't think you're listening to this podcast.
This is true.
So yes, we have, in the morning, we have the Mouse Babe and the Mole Maid, our two favorite Dibbins. They wake up the two sea rats in their room. Hi, wake up. You're gonna play with us now.
Yes, and I just love Jake's wordplay here. He's like, "You're a carpenter. We want to see you carp."
Yep.
I love that. It reminds me of a bit from the Muppets. Do you like duckling? I don't know. I've never duckled.
I like how the Dibbins call Blackett Mr. Blackguts.
Yes.
So, and Blackgut also is like, hey, Blackgut, not Blackgut. stupid Dibbins, you got me doing it. Like, it's like, hey, so you know where that secret treasure is? Oh, yeah, totally. We'll totally build after you build us some boats.
Yep. And he makes them swear an oath.
Yes.
And this whole sequence just makes me think of I, your name, schmucks.
Unfortunately, that's about all we can quote from that movie.
This is true.
Yes.
I'd wager Black Currant's to cordial that treasure is about as valuable as Slip's cooking.
Mm.
No, actually, as we find out, it's more valuable than his cooking, honestly.
Yeah. Because, well, Blaggett is actually we find out is a pretty damn good boat maker.
Mm-hmm.
He, Slip is not a good cook.
Not at all. And I
No.
love how like Jake's you could totally tell that Jake's thinks that bad food is like the tragicest of tragedies that ever tragedies. He just is like, and it was terrible. And everyone was like at the breakfast table was just like with sad faces, just like no, oh bad food.
It was
And even the
someone on
Abbott's
my
like,
plate.
well, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. It's like, did someone die? Not yet.
Yeah.
I
And
think I
Mel-
want to go do some picking in the orchard. Yeah, orchard sounds good. Food, real food.
I gotta go. Oh, who cares? Jump out the window.
Yeah.
I got an anvil in the oven.
There was this fire, and I was trying to save it from this baby.
Yes.
But, I mean, Melissa takes the bad cooking well.
Oh,
As in, she grabs Slip by the ear and shakes him. Good lord, lady.
I don't think she likes him.
No,
Yeah,
she doesn't.
She is not a fan of either of these fellows.
No. And you know what? This has inspired me. Next food episode, I'm gonna make Skilly and Duff, and I bet it'll be better than Slips.
Ooh, interesting challenge.
That's a very low bar you have set yourself, sir.
I never said it would be very difficult.
Okay.
Hell, the failed chicken soup I tried to make the other day was probably better than that. I threw in a crock pot, chicken, zucchini, garlic, and it just came out bland.
Oh, those sound like
Wow.
3 good things too.
I know. Ah, c'est la vie. Anyway, Slip's punishment for ruining breakfast for everybody and forcing them to raid the orchards is to scrub all the pans. There were no survivors.
He wasn't a fan of it.
Oh boy.
So yes, we are told they get proper staff on cooking, and Blaggett, meanwhile, is like I said, he actually he's got a pretty good boat building skill, and I have to wonder, especially among sea rats, you figure carpentry would be a pretty necessary skill set.
Yeah, I just think that everyone just beat down on him so much that he never thought that he could do this until someone was like, hey, you should build something. And no one ever encouraged him before, which is kind of sad.
And not only does he satisfy these two Dibbins, he's like the entire all of the Dibbins in the Abbey are like they want to take turns on these oars and on these boats, and it's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I wonder what will totally ruin this later.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like though that he is just as happy as the Dibbins. He's like, I finally found a thing that I can do, because like he is aware that he's not the smartest, like because everyone's told him that his entire life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fact that nobody's telling him that.
He just needed some confidence from his friends. Oh.
On
What
a very
is
special
friends?
episode of Redwall.
And the Dibbins are like, okay, you made us boats, thanks, but we're still not telling you what it is until we practice with the boats. So, sorry.
And I he's like, all right, drive a hard bargain, go for it. And then Slip shows up and he's like, oh, did you try my skilly and duff? Yeah, it was disgusting. That bread was good. Did you make that? Oh yeah. Everything, the rest of them, they messed up the skilly and duff.
Yes.
I'm picturing Slip as a Gordon Ramsay for now, right now.
Well, he's got the abuse down. I mean,
Yeah,
the verbal
yeah, he
abuse,
does.
he's got that down.
Skilly and Duff, more like no skill and rough.
Totally tangential. If next time you're on YouTube, the Muppets, since we were mentioned earlier, the Muppets did put the Swedish Chef against Gordon Ramsay, and it's hilarious.
Oh,
see this.
I have got to go see that.
Yeah, we're done recording.
I'm sure the Swedish Chef is a better chef than Slip. I mean,
Oh,
this is
absolutely.
I mean, the dude makes donuts with a shotgun. How is that not a bad thing?
Well, he makes popcorn chicken by making popcorn and then throwing chicken in a giant pot.
Yeah.
And throws like
how you make it.
And throws 18,000 things of popcorn in the microwave.
English wordy wordy chocolate mousse. First we get the mousse.
Today we cooking the chicken. Work.
But yeah, back on topic. The kids are like, yeah, we'll totally so later.
Yeah.
Then we're done playing.
Yeah. And
and Slip, they need you for lunch dishes. Have fun with that.
Yeah. I love it too, is like they see the shadow and they're like, oh god, it's the shadow. It's like, no, it's Melis.
That's even worse.
Yep. And I absolutely love when the Dibbins finally do show Blaggett where the treasure is, and adorable Dibbin counting is adorable.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. And Blaggett obviously doesn't know
That is
doesn't
wrong.
know how wrong they are. He actually just it's like, hey, education's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, look at him go.
Yeah.
That'll actually happen again in one of the what was it, like the 5 or 6 books, where you have a bunch of villains being quote unquote educated by a captured hare, and he sings this rather insulting song. When we get to it, it's hilarious.
It is. I love that.
But before the Dibbins lead him out to the spot, and before Blaggett can dig, because slipping isn't gonna do it. So the black shadow appears. Ooh. Yeah, it's
Who do you supp-
It's Batman.
Huh?
Or maybe
you mean
it's a
Oak Tom?
Or Oak
I was gonna say maybe it's
Okay.
a hedgehog, like a shadow hedgehog.
Oh.
Oh.
No, he doesn't have a gun.
I think you're the faker around here.
Gotta dig fast.
But yes, they eventually were going to get back to it. But before we get Tarquin, who is still just being fun.
Yeah. And
I mean, yeah, he's still day drinking and doesn't know the name of his own kids.
I know.
Yeah, anyone notice that?
I did. I'm like, Tarquin, granted, doesn't he have like 40 of them or something? So
12.
12.
Well,
Okay.
12.
It's still a lot to keep track of.
It is.
And for poor Rosie's sake, we're going to assume most of them are adopted.
We do get a good moment of Blaggett talking to Slip, and he's like, "Oh, so you found the treasure? Where is it? Oh, it's 119 steps in this direction." And he's like, "119 steps, you say?" And he's like, you can just picture him face palming, like, "Oh." And then there was dramatic silence.
Yes, there was. But back in Egbert's hole.
Back at the plot.
Yeah, back at the not cute plot. Hey, you remember Rab and Muda who totally were pincushion and totally died? Yeah, they're alive.
Yep.
Zombies!
And Muda takes Muriel's presence really well.
Yeah.
I have to point out an interesting thing here where Egbert's like, oh, that's Muta, or Muta, that she's their, the nursemaid. And I don't know who this guy is, so I call him Rudd. I was like, how do you not know who Rab is?
Like captain of the
Right,
guard,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and he said he's been
Yeah.
living there for a while.
I do not know. I actually never thought about that, but yeah.
Some smart guy.
He's book smart, not street smart.
Yeah.
If I had to
Maybe-
guess, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You probably have a more eloquent point than me. I'm just like thinking in my head.
Okay. I just pondering to myself that very question as I was reading through it, and it was like, well, he knows the name of the Squirrel King and Queen, but that's about it. And he probably knows Muta's name by proximity to the King and Queen, but he mostly stays to himself and raids the library. So if that's all that he has as far as quote unquote interaction with the inhabitants of the castle, of course he's not going to know everybody's name, especially if he's listening to conversations that he has no context for.
That's a good point.
Right. And also, I was kind of thinking maybe if he prefers like solitude and quiet, otters are kind of loud and rambunctious. So maybe as soon as he hears otters, he's like, oh crap, the otters, I'm going the other way now. They're too loud.
Yeah, I don't exactly picture Rab as somebody hanging around the library pretty often.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that Egbert apparently learned his medical skills out of the books, and I just got to think like, oh, I finally get to use this. Hey, is this bone supposed to be like that?
I'm okay. I'm not okay. Please don't leave me with the terrible doctor.
I'll explain this why Rab can't speak.
Vocal cords connected to the arm bone.
Oh, God.
Well then.
So he has to talk by waving his arm up and down.
He literally has a hand puppet that talks.
Oh,
God. But yeah, Muriel's like, hey, that's totally Rab, and yeah, your mate's still alive, but she thinks you're dead. So can you respond? He's like, nope.
I do like the callback to when Mariel had lost her memory and she thought she called herself Storm, that she sympathizes with them, but she knows exactly how they feel.
Yes, that is a nice continuity thing that made me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh hey, Gale finally got out of the castle. Time to go raise that army.
Well, time to be hitting the old dusty trail.
Here, you'll need a broom. I don't know why, but you might need a broom.
We do get the villains where Silvamord's like, Zoinks, Foxwolf, we found a ghost!
Yeah, this couple hasn't gotten any better.
No.
I love how she's like, you didn't kill them right.
Look, I was following procedure. What do you want from me?
Look, I set them up in this overly elaborate arrow trap and assumed everything worked out okay.
As is villain protocol.
I mean, it's right here in Villain 101.
Assume all traps work, walk away until proven otherwise.
And oh yeah, your drawbridge is being attacked.
Yep.
Well, it's up. What do we have to worry about?
Yeah. Oh, wait, now it's down. Wait, now it's up. Now it's down. Oh, that's not good.
Huh.
I
And,
love
yeah,
how they're, like,
yeah,
They're just
someone's
like
like,
playing with it. It's like a up, down, up, down.
oh, someone realizes she still has the clicker on her belt. Oh, that's my bad. Sorry.
Keep sitting on it.
You always do that with the drawbridge opener. Why do you have to play with that so much? Sorry, I needed to fiddle with something.
I just think of Homer Simpson. Drawbridge goes up, drawbridge goes down, goes up, goes down, go. Oh.
Well, my mind ran to Robin Hood Men in Tights, where Prince John drops the portcullis with a clicker.
Oh.
even with the car alarm sounds. But yeah. Huh.
And we've got our new metal band where they mentioned Mariel and the Slayers. I don't know, it just seems like they should have their new hit single, Dead Rats.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Rat
going to go
death.
over well with that crowd.
No. I think, though, granted, I think Muta's favorite band is the Stranglers.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's why Rab's favorite song is Iris.
Yeah.
Ah. But yes, they get to the Mariel and the two mute not dead people apparently get to the gatehouse. They take it over and they're like, what does that lever do? Drawbridge goes down.
Let's. And then Muta's like about to break it, and she's like, "No, don't break it."
You know, Redwall could learn a thing or two from Castle Floret's gatehouse. I mean, it's actually defensible and it actually does something.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, all Redwall has is a ditch like a few feet away from the main door.
Yeah, they could do a moat. I'm not gonna lie. So,
Yep.
I mean, it'd be nice because in the summer you got a pool. Oh wait, you have the pond for that.
Yeah.
So yes, and then we get back to we find the two foxes are listening to the one rat who had been alive in the gatehouse and escaped alive, and he's like, "Yeah, remember that badger and captain of the guard?
Remember those guys we totally thought we killed? And I like how Silvamord's freaking out, and Negru's like, I swear I killed them. It's like he's dealing with it like he lost his car keys. Like, I swear I put them over here.
Yeah.
I know I killed them. Gah.
And Dan's like, "Oh, there's Mariel. I see her in the gatehouse. Huh. Great. So can we get a message to her somehow?"
Yep.
I can totally do it. 3 shots. And then she does it, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep, Iris manages to shoot right into the gatehouse and not hurt anybody, even though, well, granted, they put a table up to catch the arrow. But
She says you could say she has a good eye for these things.
no, Jeremy, I guess I didn't see that coming.
I didn't
I
either.
have much to teach you, my pupil.
But yes, they managed to shoot a message saying, "Hey, hold the gatehouse," and I'm like, I have to. Mario's like, "Well, what does he think I was gonna do?"
Either that, or it's like, hey, we think there's like one person in there, but can you hold that gatehouse against an entire army? That'd be great.
Yep, it's a warren. Gale Squirrel King's coming back with an army.
Yep.
Meanwhile, back at the other plot, Pearl Queen is still rolling on the seas.
Yep, and Fedbar's like, we've had good luck. We've had luck on our side, and Joseph's like, what are you talking about?
I mean, he's smiling at this. He's smiling at the remark, but when I first read this, I actually thought Joseph was going off on him.
I mean, they're the luckiest unlucky sailors I think I've ever read about.
Yeah.
Because Joseph even listed off, we've been holed by rocks, we've been attacked by toads, fought off a shark, lost our rudder, had a mast snapped off like a twig, been chased by a double crewed shipload of sea rats, and that's besides losing the roaring bring current that's supposed to take us to Southsward.
But at least we're not on fire.
Hey, is that lightning to you? Oh.
Ah!
But at least we have food. Wait, we need to ration.
Yeah. Also, why do groups traveling in these books almost always run out of food? That seems
Red
to be
Rollers
an
don't know how to ration.
I don't know, it just seems to be an ongoing thing.
Because again, you need some tragedy, and the tragedy to Jake's is bad food or no food. Which I agree. I'm not saying I disagree.
Yeah. Then they're like, well, we're low on food. Time to resort to cannibalism.
Which I love how they go around the list. Well, who are they gonna eat?
The kids are too small and skinny, and then like as Rosie's walking by, I think it was like Thatch was like, "Oh, at least we won't have to listen to Rosie anymore." Like,
Yeah,
wow,
Rosie
Oh,
would.
goodness, Rosie! No.
darkest joke.
Yeah, like Rosie's gonna not go down swinging. So
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, so since she's always laughing, would that be a Happy Meal?
Oh, that's awful.
I want to hurt you.
Well, it would be an expensive meal. It would cost you an arm and a leg.
Didn't. And a couple of years. Oh. Hey, there's a hair in my soup. The hair is your soup.
Wait, what?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tarquin's really gonna take that well when you get back. So. But yes, they. But hey, we're gonna run out of food. Hey. Oh, I love Rosie. Before we get to that, Rosie's just like. She's playing with one of the orphans they found. Hey, oh yeah, you guys aren't gonna eat me. Ow! She bit me.
Yeah. That was
Hey,
good.
cut it out.
Time to eat Rosie. Oh, that's funny. Ow! What the?
Oh, but hey, is that shrimp? Oh, good. Okay, we're good.
Oh, we found the rowing bird. Awesome! Yay! And then Figs, one of the orphans, becomes tyrant of the kitchen.
Yes.
Noticed.
And as always, Figs is adorable.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then even Finbar's like, shrimp. I've eaten those before. So we're gonna need some pepper and some hot root. And what are you guys all glaring at me for? Hot root's good.
It's not actually
Aren't we
food if it's not burning your mouth open out.
Right.
Aren't we lucky to have all this food? Bump. What is that? Oh, land ho.
Right.
Meanwhile, back on the ranch.
Yeah. Oh, the Pearl Queen lands, and they're like, "Oh, we're in Southsward. Oh, I guess we have to go kill people now." Oh, okay. So, Finbar, you coming? He's like, yeah.
Finbar's like, what else is there for me to do with these two awesome swords?
Right.
So yeah, back at the Abbey, we like I said, this is where Tarquin, and he doesn't know his 12 kids.
Hey, you there, sing at me.
What's your name? And then, well, speaking of names, we get Brother Fingal. Really?
Yes.
Fingal?
He doesn't sound like he has been a brother that long. He was like a Dibbin 2 years ago or something like that.
Probably.
And while all this like drama is going on at the castle and the army being raised, and finally this ship is everyone's almost starving, we have the tension of a talent show.
A singing contest, no less.
Yes.
And I'm totally gonna put in the bum 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 public domain sound effect for that. Yes, we have a talent show, a singing contest that Melis apparently has a silver gold-lined cup she's donating. Where'd she get that?
From where did you get this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
It's Badger Treasure, don't you know?
oh, you know we're not going to show in the next book. There's no such thing. I mean, if there was, an army led by 2 weasels might try to take Salamandastron. That'd be nonsense.
That'll never happen. Wait, what's the next book again?
Spoilers.
I deny everything.
No, we're saying there isn't anything there. We're not spoiling anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm denying.
I mean, all we know for sure that all that Salamandastron actually holds is drugs. Lots and lots of drugs.
We do know that for
Hair.
a fact.
Oh yeah, and a hair army.
And a hair army. That's always hungry for some reason.
Oh.
Salamunchi's strong. And
But yes, we also get Blaggett and Slip trying to sing a terrible song that the adults literally have to pull. Like, here's the hook, and here's us dragging you off stage.
Right.
Gee, Brian, I sure do like singing.
You know, for some reason, Brian's love of bloodthirsty ballads always amuses me. I mean, just wait till Hyrule Lane. It gets worse.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't know what Dibbins are talking about because most kids I know who are exposed to like an action movie are like cool, and apparently the Dibbins are upset. So, but yes, the Red Wallers pulled him off with a giant hook. So, but yeah,
And Melis is not happy.
she's never happy.
Except when she's scrubbing somebody in a tub.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the winning song is "Song of the Pirate Pond Dibbins."
See, that's the song I wish we could have heard.
Oh, I know, right?
That sounds adorable.
And but yes, Melis tends. We find out that this shadow was Simeon all along. And he was the one making the beds and following the two rats, and he knows that Slip is up to no good, but he's just telling Melis about it now.
I mean, I would have never guessed.
No. I'm Batman. No, I am Batman.
Okay, Oak Tom, you can sit down.
I'm Spartacus.
But yes, they dig Slip. Well, Blaggett digs the hole because Slip's not going to do it himself. And Blaggett comes up with a box, and I love what that's in here, and I love the reaction. The Dibbins treasure box contains a pawful of moldy acorns, some fragments of colored glass, faded ribbons, 2 hawk feathers, and a spinning top made from stone. Brian even comments, it's just the sort of thing a Dibbin would consider precious.
Aww.
Moldy acorns? Really?
I don't know. Maybe they
Well-
were a neat color.
Well, they were fine when they were buried, but they've been put into a not air-sealed box in the dirt. So, of course, they're going to get moldy.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Somebody get these Dibbins some Tupperware.
Right.
And I love Blaggett. She's like, it's not treasure. It's just these playthings. He's just like, whatever.
And then
Slip does not take it well.
No.
And
Kids are a little mad he threw the treasure box at the wall, but he starts threatening the kids, and Blaggett's just like, no, you will not.
yeah, we get the first instance of Blaggett about to stand up for himself, and then Slip kicks him to the floor, and then turns with his knife, and then
He slashes at Slip.
Yeah.
Or Blaggett, rather.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of a sudden he turns and a wild Melis appears.
Yep.
Slip used surprise knife out of nowhere.
It was
Surprisingly effective.
Mhm.
It's depressingly effective.
Yeah.
This was a bit of a shock moment. Like, this is the second book I read, and even then I was just like, whoa! Knife out of nowhere. Because, Melis is, got insta-killed.
And
Like, rolled a 1 on her defense.
And in front of the children, and you have like the insult to injury of Simeon going, "What's going on, Melis? What's wrong?" And the kids screaming and crying.
Yeah, I'm imagining this from Simeon's perspective for obvious reasons, and I don't think there was anything else he could have done. I would have done the same thing. Grab the kids and go as far away from the scary sounds as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then afterwards be like, what is going on?
Yep.
What just happened?
And Blaggett is he is actually genuinely sorry for this. He's like, oh my god, what just happened? You just killed the badger. What the hell, Slip?
And unwittingly, he provides the context that Simeon needs to understand what just happened
Mm-hmm.
by saying that.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see Simeon's reaction, but I assume it'd be devastating for him because they were old friends. Like, they'd known each other a long time.
Yeah. And even here, Blaggett's just like, he does fall asleep in the moss flower because they're not going to stick around. But he. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's obviously not in complete control of rational faculties, but he goes out. He's just like, we gotta run. I want to stay, but we can't. And so just like, whatever, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Yep. And Slip grabs the cup.
Yep.
And then
yeah.
Yeah,
And then Tarquin and Oak Tom are we are the forest.
Oh, Tom's like, I am vengeance. I am the night.
I am Oak Tom.
Well, we all know what happened to the last sea rats that pissed off Oak Tom.
Right.
Yeah.
He made a special mast for one of them with a spear.
Indeed.
Just say, are we sure he's Batman and not the Punisher?
It's more like in Taken, where he's like, I will look for them. I will find them. And then I will kill them.
Chilling.
Well, because, well, have you heard of this guy called Gray Patch? No? Think about that.
But meanwhile, back at the other plot,
Yep.
the Joseph and his crew find a hedgehog tribe in the sand, and
That's Boley and his
Boley.
team.
oh yeah, it is Bully and his team. Sorry.
Yep. And we get Boley being awesome.
For once.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a good feel-good moment.
Yeah, especially after what we just went through.
Exactly.
Yes.
Kind of needed this.
Yes. And yeah, it's just basically their help raising an army. It's like, hey, you want to come bash some vermin? Do we?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wait, did you say the fox? Did you say the fox wolf? The fox wolf? I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
You know what the
Dibs on
fox
the
says?
wolf.
You know what the fox says? Nothing after I hit him with my club.
So yeah, they just add a bunch of more burly hedgehogs, male and female, I might add, to the ranks. And like, okay, great. So let's get going. Yeah, awesome. Oh, and this sigil here is this broom. I don't know why. We felt like it.
It was what we had lying around.
No. Oh, I get it. We're gonna sweep Foxwolf out of the area. Yeah, that'll work. And I wonder, it's like, and they're all looking at each other like, why wouldn't a dagger work better?
Well, we're not going to stab him out of the country. That's just stupid.
But we're gonna kill him.
It's called symbolism. Subtle symbolism.
Oh, okay. But yes, yeah, Bully's got more people and he's heading back to the castle.
Yep.
Yay! And Mario's just like, okay, mood up, Rab. Okay, you don't have to run out and kill them all, because I know you're impatient.
Here, play with the drawbridge for a little bit.
Yes.
Hey, why isn't my clicker working anymore? Oh.
This is like a little kid playing with the garage door at this point.
Yeah. But, yeah, the two foxes are using their archers to try shoot at the people on the other side of the drawbridge, and they're like, okay, send archers across the drawbridge. And rats can fly.
You will believe a rat can fly.
Well, no, they don't fly, they just bounce as they bounce down.
Into the moat.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, the foxes are taking it well. No one takes anything well in this series.
No. The Foxwolf and Silvamord are actually working together properly now. Which shows that things have actually gotten more serious, where he gives her instructions like, go do this to drive the, send some smoke arrows in there, burn them out. And she's like, well, what are you going to be doing? He's like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to kill everybody. And she's like, all right, cool. That sounds like fun.
Wow, you're actually the fox I married. Huh.
Last time you acted like this was when my mother came to visit.
Oh.
Hey! So, but Danny's just like, oh, they're probably up to something. Eh.
I love how it takes until this point for Dandon to be like, Mariel can't be in there by herself. And like, what were you just thinking? She was doing this with the drawbridge the whole time?
She's been lifting weights.
Yeah.
A lot of weights.
Every day is arm day for Mariel.
Mariel, smash!
No. Because of her affinity for ropes, she hooked up an elaborate pulley system that allows her
Oh, there
to
you
harness
go.
potential energy. She was secretly a physics major the whole time.
She said like this Rube Goldberg contraption that operates it. She's like, look, if I just swing my gold whacker at this, then this little thing moves here. And
Well, she can tie complicated knots.
this is true.
This is can.
I did want to point out that she started to tie herself a new gallwhacker based on knots that only she knew, and it was like, good for her for learning not only how to do knots, but memorizing them. That was always the worst thing when learning how to tie knots.
Right.
Meanwhile, yeah. Now Gale was like, oh, where did this army come from? Oh. Hey, so word got out that you escaped and we came because we want to kick the Foxwolf around. So, yeah, you have an army now. Okay,
Yep.
great.
And we
I
get.
kind of wanted to.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to see more of this. It's the recruitment was like, hey, here, we're going to see these rather primitive-looking hedgehogs, and then they come back later and they have not just the hedgehogs but 3 other armies, and it's like that would have been interesting to see. It seems a little bit too hasty to say, well, here we'll be recruited 1/4 of our army, and then we're just going to kind of hand wave the other 3/4.
So I called the banners and off from my cell phone. Yeah, I didn't have to, go and personally do it. What? You act like this is hard.
Oh.
And I got to convince the people to stand up for me, even though I totally let a complete rat horde with 2 foxes at the head in my castle, like an idiot. What?
Well, he does note that like when people are like bowing to him, he's like, don't bow to a fool like me.
Yeah.
I do feel like this book seems to have been like really well paced, but this section seems to kind of like ramp things up and speed up a little bit compared to the rest of it.
Most of book 3s do it, yeah. To some degree. I mean, obviously, the original Redwall and Mossflower are probably the worst to have those tiny book 3s. So.
Oh yeah.
Because even Matameo by that point was evenly spaced. So.
Well, was it Mariel? Yeah, I think it was Mariel of Redwall. It was just read it where book 2 was like 150 pages, and like it was the longest one out of all 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have Muda using rats as melee weapons, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
So a literal rat flail, huh? Maybe those of you who grew up on VG Cats like Jeremy and I did, hey, you might get a laugh out of that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that comic apparently ended. So.
Oh, well, ended. In other words, it just everyone realized the gap between updates was actually forever.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's been more than a year now. So.
Oh.
So I would assume it's dead.
Hmm.
Anyway. But yes, they're using a battering ram on the gatehouse. So, and in a routine straight out of Looney Tunes.
My exact thoughts.
So, yeah, the door opens and the rats go right through it.
Open that door. Okay.
Guys, back up, back up, back up. Oh.
Oh, hi, big crazy badger. Oh, God.
Not the face, not the face.
Stop
Yeah,
whipping me with my own tail.
Instead of Looney Tunes with wooden mallets and superficial injuries, it's broken limbs and cracked spines. Fun!
They'd like bat them out the window too. I love how one of them gets thrown out the window, and as he's flying out, he gets pegged with like 3 arrows.
Oh, well, that wasn't so bad. I just got thrown. Oh.
Well,
Medic?
That part felt like something out of a video game.
Yeah.
Vermin HR's gonna hear about this!
But yes.
As always, defenestration solves all problems.
Oh, sure, Ungat. How well did that work for you?
My back! My back!
Yeah. Meanwhile, Egbert the Sculler, I have to feel sorry for him as much as I love this character, and I genuinely love this character. He's actually showing, someone who's book smart can actually be useful even if he's not directly fighting by knowing the ways around the castle. And no one knows how to treat him because he's a mole who does not speak in mole speech normally.
right.
And you could just see that his shoulders sink, and he'll let out this great sigh, and he's just like, ah.
I do love his back and forth with Meldrum.
Yes.
And then his sudden reversion to regular mole speak just because he's like, fine, will this get you to listen to me?
Yeah, and Meldrum's still confused, and he's like, oh, for goodness sake.
It's almost like he's thinking to himself, what do I have to do to get through to these idiots?
I mean, even Formal, when he meets him, is just like, oh, you talk like that. Neat.
Yep.
He's not even dumbstruck. He's just like, he just kind of shrugs and... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I get the impression it wasn't as much of an annoyance for him to talk to Formal in mole speak.
No. But Meldrum's just sitting here like, and you can just see his brain is shorting out.
Yeah. I do like it though, where he's like, don't be shy, laddie, speak up. And he's like, shyness is obviously not a problem with hares. Like, he kind of like subtly insults Meldrum multiple times for this whole time.
I love it where he's like, call me educated Egbert one more time, and I will call you hollow-headed hare or something like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Pearl Queen crew is just kind of chilling by a river.
Yeah. So, yeah. Cool times.
Were we supposed to be doing something? I don't know. Berries!
Where'd Figs go? Figs! Why are you with that enormous-looking otter? What have you done to your frock?
That was really cute. It's like, and Finbar is like completely fearless because like, are you with Foxwolf? And he just looks at this group of 50 otters, draws his swords, and goes, no, and if you're with them, I will kill all of you.
Yeah.
That leads to an interesting point. Every time a good species encounters another good species in this book, and they don't recognize each other, one will immediately ask the other if they're with the Foxwolf. And it's like, what in woods makes anybody think that a mouse, squirrel, or otter would willingly fight for the Foxwolf? Seriously?
Have you seen the benefits from vermin HR? They include dental.
Touche.
They have great open window insurance.
It makes me wonder if some woodland creatures are with Foxwolf, though, if they're asking everybody. Because otherwise they'd be like, oh, you're not a vermin, so obviously you're not with Foxwolf.
Also, I mean, they kind of point out multiple times, Finbar doesn't exactly always look like the friendliest of dudes.
Right.
And he's a sea otter in a world that mostly has river otters, so yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
So yeah. But they like, oh no, we don't serve him, so yeah, you wanna go kill him with us? Sure.
That sounds like fun.
Meanwhile, back at the sad plot. Oh, they bury Melis.
Well, we got Blaggett and Slip first.
Yes.
And we have Blaggett flat out crying. Like,
Oh yeah.
He was
and-
before, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's one line, there's one part of it that also still shows that he's a little dense, where he's like, "Oh, she never tried to really hurt us." I'm like, she was probably gonna snap Slip's neck.
Yeah.
All right.
Not that
But-
I have a problem with that happening, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying that was a bad thing. But she was never going to hurt us. You know,
Well,
She
I
was
think
never
she
going to
had
hurt us.
respect. Go ahead.
Oh, she was never going to hurt us except for self-defense. So it's like,
True.
you do you, I'll do
Correct.
me, and yeah.
And I think, like Constance, she had enough respect for Saxtus to not hurt anybody inside Redwall. She might wait till she got outside of the Abbey.
Well, I mean, given the measure we first saw in the series with Constance and, grabbing Sayla by the neck in an incredibly funny scene. So,
or picking up a giant table and threatening the main villain with it.
Yes.
Yeah, good thing Mellis didn't have any access to tables.
Yeah. My God, he's going through the table.
And I do have to say, the voice actor who played Blaggett, when he is, I don't know how he did this, but he made it sound like he was just hoarse and miserable and just like sobbing. And it was like really convincing. Like, this is obviously someone who has just been crying so hard that they can't cry anymore.
and then
Wow.
Slip
That-
decides to poke the bear, so to speak, even more.
Yeah,
And we
That's
get...
not a great plan.
Yeah. We get, I think, my favorite 3 words in this entire book. Blaggett got up.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we realize that Blaggett is bigger and stronger than Slip. And it never came across that way throughout the whole story, just because of him being so submissive to him. And then finally he's like, all right, I can't fix what happened, but I can get rid of you, and that will at least accomplish something.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And he even apologizes for, oh, yeah, I totally have to kill you. Sorry about that.
Yeah. He just
Yep.
stomps towards him, grabs him by the neck, and strangles him to death.
And apologizes while doing so.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good like, Blaggett's just like this kind, like, he's a little dense, but he's like a kind soul. And
hmm
I don't know,
And-
like, it doesn't seem like he was one of the more evil, like, even when he was with the other sea rats, I don't see him as like one of those actually like pillaging and killing people.
And that brings me to my soapbox. Okay.
And then I'll have mine after you're done.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, one of the most constant criticisms of the series, and I've even seen it termed as racism, and I honestly don't agree, but is, the whole species equals alignment with very few great characters. Now, we've only really had one well, if you could call him major character, where this was explored to not nearly enough degree with Outcast and Fail. I mean, we had other minor ones with, like, the annoying Vole all the way back in Martin the Warrior. And we will have, like, a whole book to explore this come Tagarung. But Blaggett is an example of where this species equals alignment really falls apart. And it really... Again, I'm an adult reading a child's series. But it bothers me. It's one of the elements of the series that tends to get on my nerves the longer I read this. Especially given Blaggett, who, if he probably didn't grow up a sea rat, would totally have been happy right at Redwall. And probably would have never had to resort to something like this. But here we are, and, he grew up in sea rats, and fighting and scratching for anything he can get is probably the only life he's ever known. So the first time he's exposed to decent creatures who aren't going to stab him in the night for some extra food, he actually takes to the life. And then when that's taken from him, he has no choice but to actually take justice against the one guy who took all of it from him. Now, I'm going to have a lot more to say, like probably a much longer rant when we get to Tagarung, about this, but yeah, don't get me wrong, Blackgate is one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. But yeah, it definitely bothers me. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, my turn. I'm going to take a kind of similar parallel view, but go off in a slightly different direction. Because I'm rather actually conflicted about this point. On the one hand, he acts very honorably, and we'll see that here in a moment when he gets back to Redwall. But on the other hand, he's still a rat, and you see people online with wild animals that they've raised from very young age, bears, wildcats, monkeys, etc. It doesn't change the fact that those animals, even though they're quote unquote tamed, they're not domesticated. They're still wild animals. It's their nature, and they're still dangerous. They're still wild. And even though Brian tended to write vermin in the same way, is it possible to have a rat or a ferret fall outside of these lines? Of course. But does that mean that they should immediately be given trust? I mean, that's more complicated. Prejudice is a two-way street that must be overcome with both time and shared experience. You can't expect somebody to, try to reach a hand out and have the other one immediately grab it. It's a thing that over time, the process, people get closer and closer together until eventually, they can grab each other and say, yeah, we agree, we're in the same spot. Blaggett's an outlier here, and I'm willing to categorize him as non-threatening, but he's on a very short list of vermin in the series that can be designated as such. I mean, I think that's something that makes what If You Give a Mouse a Dagger has done so intriguing, with species no longer dictating alignment, but alignment is more of a characteristic of the individual. This also kind of brings in some psychology as well. You mentioned earlier with Vale and kind of who he was. He wasn't born at Redwall. He was only raised at Redwall after a certain point. The beginning of his life was in a vermin environment. Now, we don't know what kind of effect that would have had on him so young, but the question of nature versus nurture can't be truly answered in this series because it was never properly explored to begin with. It wasn't regimented. It wasn't something that you could look at and say, we're going to compare this to actual psychology and see if this would actually work. Because all of the laboratory conditions get soiled, either by the initial state, him being born in a vermin camp, or on the other side, Redwallers not wanting to trust him implicitly. If we could get rid of that, great. We could see some really interesting things. Well, we don't get that. Okay, my soapbox is done.
Anybody else want a soapbox on this one?
I look at it as more. I think in an interview, I'm pretty sure Jakes was asked about this, and it's more of, I don't think he was going for, Pete, you said some people have kind of claimed more, I guess, speciesism instead of racism in it, but I think it was more of he wanted a clear-cut difference between here's the good guys and here's the bad guys. And I don't think that's a problem. I don't feel like every single every single story needs to have multiple characters of shades of gray on both sides. I think characters like that are good. And I do like seeing differences and characters acting contrary to how previous members, maybe of their species in this, or just their group have acted. We have Blaggett in this one, and on the opposite, in Martin the Warrior, we had oh God, what was the Vole? The
Droop.
Huh?
Droop.
Droop. We had Droop the Vole, who was claiming oh, I'm on my own side, but he was pretty much on Badgering's side. And so we do get moments of that, of like the quote unquote good guys turning on the good guys, apparently it's usually a vole, honestly. And we also get the birds, like any bird species in this series, that's kind of usually on their own side as well. Like they seem to be the most neutral of them all. Like sometimes they'll help the heroes. Sometimes the heroes have to earn their help, kind of like with Captain Snow in the first book, or with I don't want to jump ahead too much, but in Salamandastron, we have a bird character like that where they kind of need to earn his trust or earn his help. But I don't really have that much of a problem with like, oh, this series always has just black and white on both sides. Like, I'm fine with that. For the most part, I mean, I do believe there are some problems throughout it. Like, obviously, we discussed ad nauseum about Outcast with the problems in that one. But I don't know, I don't always agree with all these other series do it differently. It's like, yeah, they do their own thing, much like this does its own thing. And honestly, if you look back to like the cartoons or TV shows or like action shows that we watched or like checked out when we were kids, you didn't see this that much you didn't see Shades of Grey all that much in those. Like, the most notable one I can really think of that actually did this among children's shows was like Beast Wars with the character Dinobot, where he was kind of like a shade of gray in certain points. And it was more of he had honor, and so he fell in line more with the heroes than anything else. But then you also have stuff like the original Transformers show where I think there was like one Decepticon, Jetfire or Skyfire, who switched sides, but it was only because they say that at one point he did follow the Decepticons because he thought they were noble, and then eventually sees that they've been twisted and is like, oh, you're not the group I want to follow anymore. And so like I'm fine with series having that black and white look, and I do like it when there's shades of gray, when there's middle things when there's that middle ground, but I don't think every single thing needs to do that. And I do like Blackett, and I think when you do things like Blackett, where he's more of a one-off case, it makes it stand out a little bit more. And yeah, I think that makes this more impactful, that we have this sea rat that has become like a good guy, quote unquote, and switch sides. If we saw this in every single book, I don't think we would remember Blackett as much.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what this comes down to is like, I mean, it's a children's book, so it's not going to be as complicated and nuanced. And I think Jake's intention was just to tell a good story. I think that's what he said in his interviews, and he would probably be maybe a little bit annoyed that we're like picking this apart on a podcast. But you know what, Jake? That's what you get when you put stuff into the world. But
you're overthinking it.
But I mean, you're right.
He probably would say that.
But, I mean, it's just, we can talk about what that says about Jake's as a person, that, he does this black and white type thing, or we can just say, hey, it's a children's book. He's trying to tell a good story, and he wanted to have like this black and white. These are the good guys, these are the bad guys. And sometimes he'll throw in, hey, this can be different, but not very often. So I don't know. It's never really bothered me a lot until like this read through of Outcast, actually, when I was like, hey, this isn't working. But it didn't bother me in this one.
Yeah. I do think Outcast, I think it's because Outcast tried to go to that Shades of Grey route and just didn't go through with it correctly, didn't go about it the right way. I think that's why Outcast we had more of a problem with Outcast than with this one. Because like in this one, it was just like, oh, Blackett's just kind of like a good-natured guy. Whereas in Outcast, it was, well, can this ferret actually live in with Redwall society? And it's like, no, he can't. It's like, yeah, because there's like a million different reasons why that didn't work. And part of it was all of Redwall was like, no, he's scum.
Yeah. I mean, it's a point worth bringing up. I'm not asking for a Redwall series that takes the extreme opposite end, where it actually deconstructs the black and white goodness into what medieval life would probably been like, aka Game of Thrones. But yeah, this is all worth talking about because that's what we're here for.
Right, exactly.
And I want to make it clear that it should be anyone I have on this program. We love this series. There's a reason we've come back to it. We're not taking this apart out of malice. We're just because we do want to bring up stuff that bothers us from time to time, and we're adults looking at a kid series.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a case of we care about it so much, we're thinking about it so often that these questions come up, and we say to ourselves, "Hey, why is that like that?" Or, "If this was something else, would it be different? Would it make a difference? Would it affect how I feel about the story?" We care, so we overanalyze.
We
Indeed.
overanalyze because we care. Yeah, I think that's also like why I like checking out like directors and writers' commentaries on movies, or if people like when the writers of certain things kind of like speak out about something or bring up stuff, or when they're asked specific questions and they answer it like, "Oh, did you mean to go about this way?" And they say like, "No, this is what we intended," or if they say, "Yes, good catch on that."
Yep.
But as we kind of mentioned, Blaggett. Does anyone else have to say on that? Sorry.
I think
I think I'm done.
Blaggett is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes back to the Abbey again, showing his actual inner character. He knows that he could if he gets back, he might actually Oak Tom might want to have words. He
Mhm.
comes back, but he comes back anyway.
Yeah. And he even just kind of stands there and says, "Feel free to judge me as you see fit."
Yeah.
Not in those words, because a couple of those might be too long for him, but you know.
Yeah. No, he's just like, that's it. I said my stuff. You can kill me now.
Yeah. And
And Saxus even says it's just like, no. He turns to the two Dibbins that he's been helping this whole time. It's like, what would you have me do?
mhm.
Like, don't kill him. He makes good boats.
Yep.
Yeah. And I just gotta say, I think Saxtus, like, I think this is his first big tragedy that he's had to handle as an abbot. And I think he does a really good job. Like, he just says, Melis is talking to me and she's saying, there's still work that needs to be done and fun that needs to be had. And I just thought it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it because they show that at first he's kind of going around as like kind of almost on autopilot because he's so distraught, but then realizes like, no, I'm the abbot. I need to stay strong for everybody else.
Mhm.
And it shows like he's grown since the last book and he's earned the position that he's in.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's kind of obvious. When all of us go through grief, autopilot is kind of what most people do.
Yeah.
Like, you just shelve your feelings until you can process them later, kind of thing.
Yep.
So,
I mean, when I lost one of my best friends a couple months ago, I just started doing all the stuff. Like, when I found out, I was like, okay, I got to get this done before I book my flight. I got to get this done for work. I was just like doing all the stuff. I was packing. I was like, wow, I should really be more sad than I actually am. But I was just like in total shock and just doing things. So it was very weird.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to go into detail about it, but a few years ago, I got some bad news about something. And after I got off the phone, my mom looked at me and she said, "What do you feel?" And I just looked at her and said, "I want to ruin my effing dinner." And just went and ate like chocolate. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to. I just want to do something to distract myself now.
Mm-hmm.
but it's thankfully Blaggett he's grateful that they're not going to kill him, but when they offer, hey, you could still stay here, he politely declines. Like, look, I appreciate the offer, but I can't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't feel right.
Yeah. Which is super sad. Darn it, Slip. You ruin everything. Like, he could have stayed there eventually. He maybe could have eventually found a home with them, but he can't now because it's like traumatic for him. Like, this is where it just went wrong.
Yeah. I do like it though that Oak Tom like immediately after like admitting that Blaggett wasn't at fault, he like kind of takes his side and sits down with him, and he and Tarquin are like, "Yeah, we'll help you find a new place to live." And Blaggett's like, oh, are we gonna make some food? And Tarquin's like, oh, Oak Tom is a terrible cook. Brother Malin, get over here. We need your help.
But yeah, they basically they wish him well. They give him food, they give him tools, and he agrees he's gonna go live on the beach, on the sea, and build his own boats.
Yep. And the babies are sad. Poor babies.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time we're gonna see. It won't be the last time we see him, rather.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Mwahaha.
And the Red Dwarves even send Oak Tom and Tarquin to go help him build a house. So
I actually would love to see that sequence of them trying to build a house together.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they get along well? I actually don't know. I mean, maybe they would butt heads a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that as like a Three Stooges routine.
Yes.
Let me guess. They settle on a cave because it's easier than trying to put up 4 walls together.
Yeah.
They put up like this ramshackle thing that they're like, now this is a house, and it just falls over. That cave looks
Yes.
And we have to go back to the action plot. Which
Muta-
chapter 3?
Muta pulls a Donkey Kong and throws a barrel at people.
Chapter 33 has the fox wolf in his artwork, and other than how anthropomorphic are they, I gotta say, yeah, buddy, I don't get why you kept the skull.
Is that the one where it looks like he's lying down on a bunch of spears?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I always found that one weird looking. It was when I first saw that, I was like, do they kill him in this chapter?
No, unfortunately. So, but yes, he runs and takes his troops out to meet the gathering army.
Is it invasion time? I think it's invasion time.
Yes. And then Muriel deliberately raises up the drawbridge so he's locked out of his own castle.
Silvamord! I lost my keys again!
I told you to take the remote! It's not working!
Did you put new batteries in it? No, well, go to the store and pick some up. You can't just let me in. You're never going to learn that way.
Also, pick up me ice cream.
Oh, man. I feel his pain. The number of times I have locked myself out of my office at work because most of my slacks have ridiculous tiny lady pockets that my keys don't fit in. These need pockets too. They're not just for gentlemen.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know more than a few women who buy men's jeans because they have pockets. So
Yeah, I can't wear jeans to work, unfortunately.
Actually, it's funny. The creators of the show Ruby, most of the main characters are girls, and they said they purposefully made the character designs with pockets because they knew people would want to cosplay as them. And they're like, okay, we know how tough it is to have pockets when you cosplay.
Yeah. Anyway, ridiculous tangent brought to you by me.
Unfortunately, right when they do lock the drawbridge, fire alarm.
And it's not a drill.
Yeah. Well,
Silvermund's whatever her name is.
Silvamord.
Silvamord. Her best solution is she's going to smoke the people out of the gatehouse. And it works! Because, hey, didn't we have a mousemaid with us?
Oops. I know the way you paused that was Silvamord's going to have a smoke.
I can't deal with this.
She's going to smoke them out of the gatehouse.
I mean, that might calm her down a little bit. She seems a little high-strung,
Yeah, she kind of is.
Just like, oh, this is so much better. Weren't we supposed to be doing something? I don't know.
I mean, she is shortening her life expectancy. Just not from the cigarette.
No. But we do get all three of them are like, well, can't hang out here. Might as well kill some horde beasts.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah, and I do like while Negru is out with his team, and he's like, dead beasts never come back, and his Captain Bladetail's thinking, well...
Yep. But he wisely keeps that to himself.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Egbert's still leading people around the castle because, hey, it's a good job.
Someone's got to do it.
Yep. And Foxwolf is like, who threw an oat cake at me?
Who throws an oat cake?
Like, seriously.
And I don't think it's an oat cake, sir. It seems like it's some kind of stone.
And then, charge!
Oh, there's another army. Oh yeah, I knew that.
I like how calm and calculating Foxwolf is, because he sees an army charging at him, and he's like, now I gotta deal with this.
Yep.
You want something done right.
And then there's this guy.
Yeah. The impressive thing, though, is that his troops are actually properly drilled and able soldiers. I mean, they beat Cotier any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sarmina cannot be argued that she didn't equip her troops well, but
I would like to see Foxwolf, what would result between Foxwolf and his team and Badrang and his group. Because Badrang, I think, until this point, he was the most competent leader out of everybody.
Right. Now I'm just picturing all the villains meeting around a table for like a strategy conference. It's amusing me.
Yeah. Ungatron's suggestion is always throw people out a window.
Yep.
Clooney's like, well, I could whip them with my tail. And Sarmina's like,
Bellmaker's like,
is there water around here?
Swart says, yeah, just follow them around. Hopefully you can get an opening. Maybe. Try poison. That could work. We're not sure.
I'm gonna see.
It'll probably fail.
Swart's like, we could poison their drinks. I'm like, oh god, not the poison plan again. And Badrang's like, well, why don't we just build our own base, and if they come to attack it, we kill them. And they're like, where are we gonna get people to build this base? Well, you could all work for me. Negru's like, did I ever tell you how I got this wolf skin? They're like, yes, Negru, like 1,000 times.
and then Silvamord's like, actually, he just found it in the woods, and he's like, shut up.
Dasker brings in all his slaves, and he's like, well, I have these guys, but you got to give me 33% of the profits off the top.
and Gabool's like curled up in a corner, being like, the badger's coming for us, man. He's driving into my mind.
And Clog is like, I'm just gonna wait till you guys all die, and I will dig your graves.
And there's Sligar offering them to sell them more slaves.
Yes.
Yes.
Sligar's looking at Gabool and be like, I'll have what he's having.
Oh my god.
Can somebody please write this?
Yeah.
Please, that'd be fantastic.
Anyway.
Oh man. That was fun.
Yeah.
What was happening again?
Oh, Rab and Iris get to hug.
Yay! And we also get the great moment of locked doors did not stop the big badger.
Yep. That's like a slogan for every badger ever.
Yeah. They're like, that door is locked. Muta just like barges through it. The door's not locked anymore.
The door's not a door anymore.
Like, we needed that. And
Not exist.
Muta picks it up. And it's like, I found the door for you. And we get I think this might be the third time of Silvamord's like, I need you to take a message to the heroes.
Oh yeah, because that works so well.
Yeah. We all know how well that turns out.
Ow!
And he just kind of stumbles back. What happened to you? Mouse made with a rope.
Yeah.
And everyone looks like, oh, yeah.
Mouse made with a rope. That says everything in 4 simple words.
Yep.
Yep.
And as Silvermord gives the order to take them out, all of a sudden, bam! You just got knocked the thatch out by Joseph's staff.
Yes, she did.
Yep.
And thankfully, she still survives. Well, for her anyway. Thankfully
Yeah.
for her, she still survives this.
I do love the reunion moment of daughter, father, Dandon, sir.
Yes.
Rocky!
I just love it in the audiobook too, because it's like daughter, father, Dandon, sir. It's like, wow, okay.
Hi, not father-in-law.
It's like, what have you gotten my daughter into? Oh, come on, you know her. She got me into this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, yeah, they got reunited again. Huh.
Yay.
Didn't we just do this?
Joseph's like, how come every time we reunite, we're killing people?
I don't know. Thwack.
Adventure. Yeah.
It's fun. Well, you got me there.
And we get Roof trying to be the hero and poor Fatch.
Oh, I know. This is so
Mhm.
sad.
Name side characters sacrificing themselves. Who'd have thought?
Mm.
Yeah. But then we get a good payoff of Silvermord running for her life, going like, can't sleep, Badger will get me. Can't sleep, Badger will get me. Oh God, there's the Badger. And then Rab pops out of a door. Found you. And as Muta goes to kill her, Silvermord's like, well, might as well jump off the ledge here. She leaps away.
And,
Splash.
belly flop.
Yep.
And there's 2-3 of her rats holding up signs to say, like, 2, 3.2. Yeah.
And then Rab's like, haha, it's Rab's time to shine.
Perfect tens.
Yep. And I love it. He dives in, and the next thing is just bloated corpse floats to the surface, and Muta's like giving him the thumbs up, essentially.
Hey, I wanted to do
Just casually
that.
waving like, hey dude, yeah, you did good.
Yeah.
So, what do we do now? I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody looks out the window, it's like, huh, there seems to be a massive battle taking place there.
Should we go kill the foxwolf? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yes.
I love at one point too, because Joseph's like, wait, where's Mariel? It's like, I'm pretty sure she's already charging into battle, swinging the rope around.
Aha!
I love it how at some point that they find Rosie and she's like lost and she's like, oh man, did I miss the fighting?
She's always good for the comic relief.
Yep.
Yes.
Was I late?
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do like
miss
how
something?
I do like how during the battle she kind of gathers the younger kids to her and kind of watches out for them.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Egbert, you can babysit.
Yes.
I love how every moment it looks like Egbert might have to take part in a battle. He starts like, you know, I probably have other things to do. It's like, yes, you can go do this. Oh, thank God.
Yes.
He seems a bit flustered when he first meets Joseph and
Finbar.
company. Yep, and Finbar. And so it's like, I have to wonder with all this sudden activity he's being forced into, if he didn't suffer a little bit of head trauma.
Yeah.
I had to bring it in. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Well, I love how he says the name Marielle, and all of a sudden Joseph grabs him, and he's like, "Okay,
It's like Joseph was the calm one. He's like, "Can you help us?" Well, I was helping Mariel. Mariel, what? And he just like lifts him up, and he's like, "Where is she?"
Burial, why did you say that name?
Where are they?
You know, sometimes on the show, it's more fun just to sit back and let you guys just do all that.
I mean, it's a ton of fun to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And then we get. Have I mentioned on the show that I love cavalry charges? Because I do.
I don't know if you have actually.
Oh.
Cavalry?
Like cavalry or cavalry charges. You know, where it's like they called in the cavalry, and all of a sudden, like all the heroes jump in during like the death moment and turn the tide.
This
Yep,
would be
save the day.
yeah. Cavalry is traditionally horseback, so
Yeah, is like it's the cavalry. You know.
yeah.
I mean, we're going to get a big one of those in the Long Patrol. And
Indeed.
in Martin the Warrior, they tried doing that, but then it didn't work out too well. His Badrang was like, "Oh look, there's more of them. Well, I still got my walls, and I can still shoot them. So all right."
Yep.
Yep, and I love it because they're saying like Foxwolf's captains are like, "All right, we're gonna get the jump on them in 3, 2. Why is there a spear sticking out of my stomach?"
Well, I mean, I guess it's fashionable, and why can't I feel my everything? Oh.
Well, don't you know, in order to gain the power necessary to defeat the big bad, you have to either sacrifice yourself, sacrifice someone you love, or some combination of the two on a sliding scale that leads to some great sacrifice that you can never reclaim.
Well, that doesn't sound at all fun.
Mm.
Everyone looks at Finbar.
So yeah,
Poor Finbar.
I'm kind of condensing this here, but eventually, yeah, Foxwolf, all his troops are kind of surrounded on all sides by not only the Gale Squirrel King's forces, but Joseph and Mariel and all them. And hey, Finbar, have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do like it too, because Foxwolf takes one look at Finbar and is like, "I don't want any of that."
Yep.
And he's like, he saw him swing his swords around. Finbar throws the swords away.
Why?
It said that he didn't have enough room to use them. So he's just like, "I don't need these to kill you."
Oh.
And he didn't.
No, but
To be fair, nothing Foxwolf does really, like, actually kills him. As Finbar is like beating him up, he's like, "Someone kill this sea otter," and he takes a spear through his back, but doesn't care and continues to tackle and beat up Foxwolf. Then picks him up and uses him like a battering ram and slams him headfirst into a tree.
See, if he
And
would have
on-
taken off that wolf skull, maybe he wouldn't have died.
I think if he didn't have that on, Finbar were like, "Oh, that didn't work the first time. Slam, slam, slam."
Right. Maybe that's probably true.
It might have just taken a couple more slams into the tree.
I just want to read from that section. With a sickening thud, the mighty sea otter ran his opponent's head on into the unyielding trunk of an oak tree. Unyielding trunk, yes.
Well.
and yep, because remember that whole thing that Jake set up like in book 1 where Urgan really shouldn't be wearing that wolf skull on his head? Yeah. Because the wolf's fangs go into his brain.
And that's the end of that.
Yep. And I
Unfortunately.
gotta say, like Finbar, it's a lovely heroic moment, and like obviously it was a very noble thing that he did. But I wasn't as sad about this particular death as I was about other ones, because it seems like this is kind of what he wanted. Like he wanted to be with his family again, and his family was killed, and he was just doing what he loved.
Mm-hmm. That, and he didn't really have a whole lot of story development up to this point. What are his characteristics? Well, he's a sea otter. He's got one eye, 2 swords, He's got a boat that he recaptured, and he knows a lot about the sea, and he can do sea shanties, and that's about it. It's like, what other investment have we been given to care about him as a character beyond just, yeah, he's the cool guy?
I liked him.
Well, yeah, I liked him too. I'm just saying I wasn't super broken up about his death because it just seemed like it was what he wanted.
I had, for me, the first time I read this book, I didn't take away a whole lot from it. Unfortunately, this was the only thing from the book that I clearly remembered when I started reading it a second time. So, like, the minute Finbar showed up, I was like, wait a minute, doesn't he die at the end? And, yeah. And, I don't know, his death kind of felt really sudden. And for me personally, it just kind of felt like salt on the wound after Mellis.
Yeah, definitely. But
Oh, and
I mean,
for
at
a
least...
bit of, for a bit of, I was kind of a dumb kid. The first time I read these, like, essentially it's him picturing himself sailing away on the Pearl Queen. I thought that was literal. And I was like, how are they getting back?
Oh, no.
Bye! But yeah, yeah, we at least get his final words. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what happens now? And everyone's just like, huh? Well, Foxwolf is dead. His wife's dead.
Party?
Yeah. It's a Redwall. Feast!
But this isn't Redwall. Feast anyway!
Right.
Yeah. And everyone's like, what do we have here? A dead foxwolf? This will look lovely taxidermied and placed in Great Hall. Maybe we can use it for a cloak rack.
I needed a new rug.
wait, no, that's 2 rugs.
Oh, the other one's waterlogged.
There we go. Did notice this was...
Yeah, that might not work so well.
I think this might have been the first one where it didn't feel like they were building up a specific hero to take out the main villain. Like, in Redwall, it was obviously Matthias. In Outcast Redwall, it was obviously Sunflash. In Lord Brocktree, his name is the title of the book. I think we knew where that was going. Martin the Warrior and Mossflower, we knew it was Martin. In Mariel of Redwall, it kind of gave us that, which one is it? Because Mariel's name is in the title, but multiple characters seem to have like a reason to kill Gabool. In this one, we definitely have multiple characters don't like and hate Foxwolf, but we didn't really have a specific character being built up to face him.
Right.
There
and
was
then
no...
I was going to say, in Matameo, it was Slagar, and it was either probably Matameo or Matthias that we thought were going to take him down.
Yeah. In this one, there was no big warrior with a grudge. There were people with grudges, there were warriors, but there was no overlap between the two that would say, okay, yeah, I have a big enough reason, and I have the motivation to go and end the Foxwolf's life.
Mm-hmm.
So this pretty much wraps up, and oh yeah, and there's still Morning Fetch and Vinbar, and eventually we find out what happens. Oh, Joseph's just like, well, this kind of place is kind of cool, and you guys totally need a bell, so yeah, I'm staying.
And Gail's like, how am I gonna wait? Bell? What? I don't really need a bell. You need a bell, dude. Come on. How am I gonna?
I'm very bored. Okay.
Yeah. Look, it's in the title of the book. I gotta make a bell at some point.
Right. And I like how everyone at Redwall just assumed that Joseph died and freaks out. And Marielle's like, I'm trying to, okay, fine, just freak out. I'll wait till you're done freaking out.
Yeah, Dad's fine.
Yeah. It's like, you know him.
So yeah, they make it back to Redwall, and yeah. Hi, Han Rosie's like, oh yeah, 12 kids. Dang it. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, and their coming was foretold by Blaggett.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah, hi Blaggett. It's like, guys, the Pearl Queen's back, and they're heading towards you, and I think they're okay, but I totally hid from them because I didn't want them to kill me.
Yeah.
But yes,
And I kind of liked how they're like, Simeon's like, I can always, I always know when he's approaching before other people because he smells real bad. Real bad.
He immediately then is like, but I can forgive that because he's so good-hearted.
Yeah.
But he's like, seriously though, he kind of stinks.
Yeah. Sexist asks, how do you know it's him? And he's like, that one is a stranger to bathwater. I always smell him before others can see him. But don't tell him that. One can forgive a little ripeness for a creature with a good heart.
Don't let the Dibbins hear that, or else they'll be like, well, we shouldn't have to bathe either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Melis isn't there to do it.
True.
Aw, man. You just made me sad.
Also interesting to note, this is the first time a feast has ever been referred to as a party.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I found that to be a little unusual because it's a feast, it's a celebration, it's a time of remembrance. And the Dibbins are like, party, there's going to be a party feast. And it's like, okay.
Yep.
But yeah, the book ends, and then we goes all the way back to our epilogue, and we have the old people. I totally forgot about the prologue. Yes.
We have Old Dury and Old Roof.
Yep.
And
Yes.
they show. I like the fact that like, hey, we can show you Finbar's swords, and I thought that was nice because it's kind of rare for weapons other than Martin's sword to be kept around or referenced in like quote unquote the future. Granted, they're never mentioned again after this book, but
Right.
yeah, it's still nice at least in this moment. And I do have to question though, where one of the kids was like, "Did Red Bull ever get another Badger Mother? Wouldn't you know if they had a Badger Mother?"
Yeah, unless it was like, well, yeah, there was that one who stayed for like 2 seasons and then got tired of all you crazy kids, so then left. So, technically.
You drove her insane. So, she pulled a Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
So that's where Craiga comes from.
She was like, "I have to go now. My Salamandastron needs me."
Ah.
But yeah, in instance, it's all happy. And we do find out what happened with Mariel and Dandon. No, they didn't stick around either. They stayed there for a couple seasons, and they're like, we're out.
Yep.
And they take some
sailing.
Pearl Queen, and we're just going to sail wherever we want.
So just the two of them work that giant ship. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully they took a crew with them because that'd be pretty hard work.
What they didn't mention is they came back half a season later and went, "We sunk it."
Yep.
So yeah. Oh, and Joseph apparently came back too. So.
Yeah, and Blaggett. And yeah.
But yeah, that's ends the Bellmaker. Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, this is still a good book. And all things considered, I think I like it better than Mariel.
I think I still prefer Mariel, but I do like both of them.
The villain's more compelling here, more fun, but Gabul doesn't do much either.
I'm conflicted. On the one hand, I think I like Mariel better in terms of the characters. I like some of the story elements that get brought in here. It's definitely different than it used to be in the series and would be ever since. Because, I mean, the number of stories that say, okay, here's Redwall. Now we're going to transplant our characters to somewhere else entirely that is not a sea epic. It's incredibly small. It's odd. So I enjoyed this more than I remember liking it, but the end still felt kind of flat to me because I mean, granted, I probably read it a little bit faster than I should have, but the last 6 or 7 chapters, they just flew by way too quickly, and they had very little substance in them. It's like the last battle should take at least 2 chapters, and it felt like it took 1.
I agree on that. I also felt like the last section, like the Redwall crew arrival and then the action build to action to full on war in Southsward was pretty quick. Like we had some good moments, but this last section of the book did feel a little rushed. I feel like I like this one more like the older I get. Like I remember the first time I read it, I was like I remember I was annoyed because I liked Martin the Warrior and I thought this was a sequel to it, and it totally was not. Not a direct sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I've read it over the years, like it always has like this different feel to it, and it has a lot of differences to some of the other books. Like Martin is barely in the book. Like they reference him at the beginning, but we never actually get like a full scene of him talking to somebody in like their sleep or as like a spirit or whatever. And
That is true.
Martin's sword is nowhere to be seen for the entire story.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even reference it at any point in the story.
That's the case for Outcast too, as well, right?
No, his sword is definitely not mentioned in Outcast either. And we also get a lot of different stuff. Like I liked the scenes where it was just the Southsward characters, like Gale, like building, talking to his army and everything, and it was like, oh, it feels like this place is going through its own story, and the Redwall characters are there to help out.
Mm-hmm.
So and you can tell that Jake's had a heck of a lot of fun with this parts out on the sea, like riding the ship and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that just leaves what next? Salamandastron, and then we're gonna get into summer proper.
Yep.
Which, growing up, that was my favorite book for a long time. So, let's see if it still is.
There were a couple things that happened in that book that just shocked me. I was like, whoa, that just happened. So I'm excited to talk about those.
And all the badgers. Like, the most badgers per book.
Betcher.
Oh, yeah.
Betcher.
Darn it, I was going to make that joke next time.
Mushroom.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. So, as always, folks, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Wonderful to be here.
Indeed.
And people can find us at frustrated. No.
Do you want me to do it, Pete?
Okay, fine.
Jeremy does it better anyway.
Thank you.
Oh.
All right. You can find us at recorderonthewall.com. We are on iTunes and Google Play Podcast. We are on the Eulalia subreddit. We are on the official Redwall forums. We have our own Twitter account at ROTWpod. We have a Gmail address, rotwpod@gmail.com, if you'd like to contact us. And yeah.
Review us on iTunes.
Yes, totally do that.
Give us 5 stars. We deserve it.
We actually do have a couple of reviews now, all 5s, and I'm like, oh wow.
Awesome.
I know.
Woo.
All right. Well, okay. Thanks again for all coming on. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So long, all.